Here we go, YouTube. So today I am back with a very special video. Shout out to Fear for that intro. If you know, you know. But anyways, chat, I've talked about it. Why did I call y'all chat? YouTube. I talked about it before, but I talked about bringing the pro replays, the team, individual, whatever, back. So I thought, why not a better time before the major, look at one of the top team in the world, is what people are calling them, KC. Absolute dominant run online. They didn't perform that well in Rotterdam, but they made their resurgence, 3 grand finals, almost the clean sweep, and we got back into it. But yeah, we're just gonna review it, and to be honest, I'm just gonna let you guys know, first time watching these replays, this is gonna be a quarterfinals against Oxygen, another top EU team, and the grand finals against Liquid. But we're gonna start off with the Oxygen match, and this is my first time watching it. I'm just gonna be straight up with y'all, so I'm curious to see what they do, what I might be able to point out. And right off the rip, nothing special. Jordan's with a little bit of a panic touch, and I think Jordan's with a little bit of panic touch, capitalized well, and then that's just a very clean shot by Itachi. So right off the rip, I'm not gonna glaze. I'm not gonna say anything. Just a bad play by Oxygen. Poor touch by Jordan's with no follow up, and just Itachi does well to execute. But yeah, I'm curious to see what they do. See if I can pick up on anything special. Their teamwork, like right there, just. This is like little things that make teams super successful, especially in tournament. So really good kickoff right off the rip. They just have an advantage before the ball even gets touched, right? They know what they're gonna do on kickoff. They win. Exotic could just take the ball and have a 1v1 of his destroys, but he has no boost, right? So instead, good communication leads to him leaving the boost, and then there's Jory's. The entire pitch knows Jory's is alone in net, and look how far deep he is in net, right? So Itachi got the mid left boost after the kickoff, and the entire midfield is open. So Jordan is forced to watch a shot, but good communication, telling Exotic to leave it, forces that mid pass, or allows that mid pass to happen. So again, it's just the little things that you can execute and making those split decisions. Right off the rip, another kickoff win. Okay. Well, it's just, again, their kickoff. Let's see what they're doing. Because, like I said, they've been dominant the past two. So, most people probably must think they're trying to kill it, but Exotic is purposely trying to kill it and lose it a little bit back to Itachi. And Itachi's actually prepared for it. So that way, you know, Archie's not ready for it. FaZe does it a lot as well. FaZe and KC are the two main teams. But again, nothing's really special. Like I said, I just picked a replay. It's already 3-0. But hopefully we get to see some more, you know, not like some more midfield presence, rotations, pick up on. But just like this game has been straight kickoffs and straight kind of destruction from KC, to be honest. One thing I've experienced when I played KC, scrimming them in Rotterdam, was they're a very awkward team to play against. Which obviously they're not awkward. They're very well organized and put together. But yeah, when you play against a team that's awkward, it feels like you can't get into a rhythm and you can't get a flow. So that's what my experience was when playing them. So I'm curious to see if there's stuff they do. Whether it's like they stay on the ball in the corner a little bit longer, they take awkward 50-50s. You know, maybe they just let like, I don't know, but we'll see. Again, so far Vatira's been a pretty heavy third man in the non-goal period. Like, look, Vatira just doesn't even go. He's just making Rise kind of freak out a little bit. And the communication, again, Exotic's going to be behind him or Itachi, one of the two, ready for the clear. So Rise is freaking out because he's like, why isn't he challenging? I mean, Archie makes a good play with the follow-up, but there's no real offensive threat. As I say that, Vatira kind of dimes him out middle, but again, nothing too crazy. Good 50 in the corner, and then perfect rotations. Exotic gets behind, and instead of Itachi rushing straight to net, he sees all this midfield space open, takes it, and then, again, Itachi's really underrated for just the fundamentals, like being super fast, good 50-50s, you know, cutting when he needs to, stuff like that. A lot of the stuff that can make pros really well. You know, take him to that next tier. I think that's why a lot of people think Itachi's underrated. So again, good clinical challenges on defense out of KC. Nothing like really crazy so far, but just clinical. Again, Vatira is going to do Vatira things. He's going to make the defense not panic, but respect him, right? So now his team can play off the other Oxygen's clears and just, you know, make them panic a little bit, make them waste some boost, and whatever they want, just like then, Vatira can now execute and play the other team's clear and keep pressure. And just like this, unfortunately, is not the greatest 50-50. But since Oxygen was stuck on defense for so long, they can't really just get out for free. So KC has the momentum and can just give the ball right back. Now, this is where the flow kind of switches. Because Rise gave the ball back to Itachi, right? But Itachi's touch was supposed to be middle, and Exotic wasn't really close enough. So, and Vatir and Exotic weren't on the same wavelength. So this is where breakdowns happen. And now Oxygen takes the advantage and gets the momentum. But let's see what they do. So Oxygen has the pressure. Let's see if they score out of it. I mean, this is Rocket League nowadays. Really good mid-kill by Vatir. That's going to probably kill the pressure, if not slow it down a lot. But this is basically what Rocket League is nowadays. It's just whoever makes the first mistake and then gives that pressure, eventually, most of the time, you're going to succeed against a good team that can execute offense well. So, here we go. Again, let's just look at the 50-50 game. I think this is probably the best. I think, again, makes sense. Top 2 teams in the world right now, FaZe and KC. But I would say KC probably does have the better 50-50 game. But like, look at these 50-50s. So right off the rip, Jorius gets pre-jumped, a very good player. And that's a win in KC's book, right? But Vatir gets a win here because even though he quote-unquote gets dunked, it's in a spot where Itachi can beat Archie, the follow-up man, first. So because of that, Itachi gets a free hit. And then look at this 50. Straight mid. Vatir perfectly positioned. Itachi perfect 50. Not the greatest shot, but look what it forces Jorius to make a save. And then Exotic. This 50 is just clinical by him. You know, he's last man. Gets the 50 where he bodies one dude, but stalls enough time to where Itachi and Vatir can get boost and maybe regroup for pressure. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't work out perfectly because that's Rocket League. But, yeah. Their defense is always kind of set. You never see them really scrambling on defense too often. It's the little thing I've noticed about KC. It's like they might not have pressure or they might not be perfectly set up, but they always have an executed defense. Now let's skip this. Let's skip the rest of this replay and let's go to a final against a Team Liquid who is looking to inform this tournament. All right, game 2. Here we go. We already talked about them against Oxygen. Now let's see what there might be little differences against the Liquid team. We're gonna watch Itachi for this game. Look at this, being an absolute nuisance. Just the absolute nuisance that this is to stay up here and the trust to have 0 boost with your teammates. But here, really good hit to open space. Great positioning by all of KC because they have basically the entire field covered, like one of them. Because the Tau can't really push up because Itachi's in their corner. So he has to stay in this awkward no man's land. And again, this becomes a 1v. Him chasing even with 0 boost becomes a 1v1 for Exotic. And you kind of, at this level, you trust your teammates to get his beats, right? Because let's look at Oski's POV. So Oski's coming back, right? He's getting behind his teammate, but he sees Itachi coming. So he can't commit to playing the follow. And he has to wait to see if Exotic has 2. And he's like, Itachi's still there with 12 boosts. It's just really well done by Itachi and Exotic. But it's just super hard to play against because you don't know, like, it's impossible to read for Oski to tell if he's doubling that or if he's just going to leave it and let his teammate score. But it all happens because good spacing that turns into a good solo play by Exotic and good chase, but not overcommitment. One thing I've watched obviously KC replays, not like super in depth, but I have watched KC replays with my team, by myself, you know, because most players are just curious to see how they play. And Itachi does play with low boost a lot. It's pretty impressive. Personally, it gives me like anxiety as a pro player watching him play because I know I couldn't do it. But watching him play is impressive. Like, look at 9 boost turns. Obviously, you get to pad, but like most players are booking at finding 100 boost. You know what I'm saying? Look at this. Flips upfield with 20 boost. Who's doing that? Almost gets him scored on, but I guess those are the risks you got to take. You know what I'm saying? I'm literally spitting right now. What have I said about him playing on low boost? He's not had 100 boosts, and someone can count the time. It's got to be like 30, 45 seconds. He's still on 12. He's a nuisance, man. Oh, it's so annoying to play against. I'm going to say, this isn't the greatest comparison, but it's the fastest comparison that comes to my head. He's like a new age, the new meta Arsenal, where he's just the biggest nuisance ever. You always have to be aware of him, and you always have to be looking out for him. It's just not as bump heavy. It's more ball heavy, or like a mix of the both. Because he's there getting small little touches that allow the defense, like, or allow, you know, Liquid's defense to not really get out easily. Like, they've had Liquid as an offense, but there's that, I haven't seen a real threat. Nice little pre-jump play, forced a bad save out of the defense, and now this is where the pressure should start for KC. Oh, I think this is where Liquid is a very aggressive team. So Atao needs boost, steals it from Itachi. Not a bad play. But Oski probably shouldn't be pushing up here because he's literally last man. So this is probably some mistakes that happen just in general with Liquid because they are aggressive. God, what am I doing? Sorry about that. But right here. So like he's clearly third man, right? Him going for this is probably a little bit of, you know, anger from not being able, not anger, but like frustration from not being able to score because they've had chances, they've been on offense, but you're 3 minutes into a game, and Liquid, who's a very offensive heavy juggernaut with their mechanics, solo plays, passing, like speed, everything. When they're not scoring, I imagine some frustration can happen. So that third man push up, I think, is a little bit of that, but I'm not going to say that's entirely all that on that. But yeah, let's go to exotic. Why not? The 105 FOV camera master. Again, let's say, let's see how they hold the lead, because last game in the Oxygen replay we watched, once they got the 3-0 lead, the defense was clinical. They were aggressive, but still poised and not giving up a free counterattack, you know. So I imagine the same thing's going to happen, where they're still going to play aggressive, they're still going to look to, you know, create, but they're not going to, like this. He's just going to rotate back. He's going to reset the defense. Let Vatira challenge for him. Great challenge by Vatira. Atao doesn't even get one beat, which is usually what the first man should be going for. Yeah. Really awkward here. But again, super well handled. Jesus. Super well handled. Calm under pressure. Make the right chow. What a hit, man. That hit is so good. Literally the best touch possible. It creates offense for them and relieves pressure from defense. Like, that's how good that is. Look at Exotic, bro. He's just working. Doing everything right. That chow is so important. He can get beat. All he has to do is force, but he gets the ball to it and a dunk. Okay, he just wasted all his boost. That was interesting. Alright, so I think that's going to wrap it up for this replay. But yeah, it was fun to watch another replay like this again. If there's any other teams, obviously Gen G, FaZe, I don't know, maybe even some different regions, let me know, because I like doing these videos, especially off the top, the dome. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. Off the dome, it's a lot more fun. But yeah, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Let's get the channel popping. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.